there's another Colleen Hoover film coming out. Aren't you excited?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of screamed in my head and was like, not another one? Hello and welcome to Cassette, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, we just saw a movie in the midst of the season of Ghost, Ghouls, and Goblins, and the fun stuff with knives and the splashing red stuff in the air, and the slashing and the horror and the terror and the spooky scaries. We saw, what'd we see? What'd we go see?
It's called Regretting You.
Regretting You, the new Colleen Hoover movie. Of course, that's the movie that we went to go see when we're a week away from Hallows Eve. And man, wow. I want to hear your thoughts on this movie.
You know what, guys? Please give Ethan a round of applause for being such a good friend. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a girl. And as a girl, I love sobby, crappy, romantic movies. I can't help it. I'm a girl. That sounds so bad. And Ethan is a good friend, and he went to go see this with me, even though we could have seen it like 5 other films, but he went to go see it with me, so bravo.
Let's see, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, Chris Duckman's new movie, Shelby Oaks, Good Boy, what's another good one?
Springsteen,
Yeah, like the Springsteen movie. I mean, man, the list goes on, and
you were a good friend.
Friendship is something, isn't it? You know, I think it's truly undervalued these days. But anyway,
this movie, let's just go into it. Like, let's just say it. It's not a very good movie.
No, it is not.
Listen, secondhand embarrassment.
Listen. You know us. We never like to rail against a movie. Making a movie is hard. Yeah. It really is. Making a short film is hard. Making a movie is hard. Making an episode of television is hard. I mean, it's a hard process. It's a collaborative effort, and a lot of things have to go right to truly make it a quality product like that happen perfectly, right? Keeping all of that in mind here, this movie, it's like you're watching this thing go down. Like, okay, first of all, this movie is essentially about this couple and another couple. They're sisters, but then they find out that they're each other's significant other, including one of them sisters getting into a car accident. They find out they're having an affair. So kind of is the fallout after that. Also, there's some teenage angst side story that goes with that. We like to have fun here and keep it diverse. Fun time, versatile.
It's a Colleen Hoover film.
Yeah, and yeah. It really leans into that fact quite a bit. Listen, I'll just tell you right now, a Colleen Hoover style. I like the audacity she has to go into very difficult topics of like, hey, here's a scenario that you don't see covered often. Let's dive into that. Let's explore that. And I really do appreciate her diving into that kind of stuff.
Credit where credit's due. It's really interesting what she does with her characters.
Yes. However, relaying that to film with a different, person guiding that story, it's just like you're watching this movie go down and the story being told. And again, the concept of the story generally is very interesting. I'll give it that. It's very interesting. And I like the cast. So I'm not going to say like this movie, when you tried to bring me to the theater, drag me in, by a chain. I'm not going to say I wasn't like completely disinterested. But, watching this movie, I'm like, wow, you're really going to use that take for that scene? Some parts of the movie, in fact, most of the movie feels like a parody of itself.
I honestly thought it kind of felt fan fiction-y. We're gonna just spoil this, basically. Obviously the trailers give away a lot, so if you want to go see this movie, go see it. But, spoilers. The mom, does she even leave the house ever? I think there's 2 scenes where this mom leaves the house. It's just like, it's weirdly, and I don't think it's Colleen Hoover's fault, because I've never read a Colleen Hoover book, but I feel like people really do love them because of the situations that they put the characters in. it felt so weird. Like, it wasn't built at all.
Yeah, it really felt like, okay, let's take a really good Colleen Hoover story here. And I don't know if the story, original story is good. Like, I've never read it, so I can't say one way or the other. But let's take a really good concept of a story here and put it into play. Except we're gonna make it the vibe of a Hallmark film.
Yes, wait, that's actually the perfect way of saying it.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got from it, and which is interesting because the last one we got,
It ends with
yeah, It
us.
Ends With Us. Say what you will about that movie, but it felt like its own story, its own style, and like it felt like it was more willing to explore its source subject than
It was,
this one was.
yeah, it felt like more cinematic. I don't know if that's the right word. And yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, that film just felt so unique, and this one didn't.
Yeah, it just felt like standard. Again, half of it feels like a parody of itself,
Mhm.
and then half of it is just like, oh, this is just something I could put on the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, honestly, which is a shame because I really like McKenna Grace and Mason Thames. I think they're awesome.
Oh, they're great. And in fact, even in this movie with what they're given, I think they do a really solid job.
Yeah, and obviously their chemistry is outstanding because they're actually dating each other. But
Yeah.
I-
So no effort really there.
yeah, honestly, two young hot actors. There you go. Like, great.
I will say this, listen, I think Dave Franco is a great actor. I think he's wonderful. I love him in a lot of things he's in. I've not seen Together yet. I plan to see that soon. But I gotta say, his cadence in this movie was very, very interesting.
Yeah, he's not given much, is he?
Yeah, it felt like a lot of the times he was sighing and kind of like tilting his head to the right and just repeating the same cadence over and over again, and it was just, it felt like the same. Usually when you're watching a performance in a movie, there's some versatility in there and it's not just the same thing over and over again. But here, it felt like the same thing over and over again, with the exception of one scene that was like a flashback scene. It was the
Hmm.
pool
Yeah.
one, but yeah, for the most part, it was just Dave Franco walks into frame. He it has hands in pockets, shrugs his shoulders, big sigh, tilts his head to the right of it, and then says the name of the person he's talking to, and looks down, shakes his head, and like has like this weird, reserved hold back in the back of his throat that holds his voice back. And it was like the same thing every time. And I just felt like, do you just not care to be here? Or like, and listen, nothing against the guy. I think he's great. He's had awesome
Yeah.
performances in other movies like Now You See Me, The Studio, when he was in the studio playing essentially himself. Of course, a much more,
Yes.
exuberant version of himself, but like still a character nonetheless. He was great there. I mean, man, the dude can act and the dude is charismatic as hell. This movie, it's like they took that, it's like, let's dial that down significantly.
It felt like he went through the same character beats over and over and over and over again. And same with the mom and daughter. Like, I don't know how many times it's like, go to your room. I'm like, I get it. She's grounded. Like, where it's just so different from It Ends With Us. I feel like It Ends With Us did such a great job, like, really playing up the story, and this I just felt like I was being beaten over the head several times with the same exact story points. I'm like, I get it. I don't know. And not to be like, I can do better, but I would have just directed this so differently. And it's a shame because, again, I think it's a really interesting idea. I think Colleen Hoover has such an interesting take, and I don't know, book readers, are we wrong? Is this like how the book is?
Of course, I can't speak to that, but just for all you who don't know, this movie is directed by Josh Boone, who, if you don't know, he directed The Fault in Our Stars
Oh, he did?
and also The New Mutants.
Oh, he did?
Actually, he wrote that. I'm not sure if he directed it, but he was involved in it nonetheless. Now, when it comes to this movie, I gotta say, sometimes the directing is solid, sometimes it really was like, again, you're gonna use that take, you're really gonna you keep that performance in there. You really don't think they could have given it a little more, you could have gotten a better one for that. There was a particular moment that really kind of sums it up for me in that regard, and it's when, for the 900th millionth time, Clara and Morgan are arguing with each other. Mom and daughter arguing with each other in a car, and they're driving back home, and it's just this very cringeworthy back and forth. Not because of the dialogue, really, but because how the dialogue is executed.
Yes.
It felt like almost that scene from The Detroiters, where that's a show that's intentionally supposed to be funny, where like sometimes it's so funny that the actors, you can tell, are having a tough time holding back their laughter. But in a show like that, it works because you're supposed to be laughing intensely at that moment. It's silly. Here, it's like, oh, we're just coming back from the funeral, and she's one of them. Both of them are trying to cope, and we're supposed to be feeling for these characters in this moment, and they're. It almost sounds like they're about to break out into laughter with this intense argument going on right now, and I'm like, what is going on right? What am I supposed to feel?
Yeah, it was really the emotions were all over the place with this one, I felt like.
Yeah, I just don't know what they were thinking keeping that take in there. I don't get it. And I know that there is that blend of like trying to make like making it topical, where a lot of kids and teenagers, including ourselves nowadays, we love using dark humor to cope with a lot of things, right?
Yes.
Here, like, yeah, it does do that, but in that scene in particular, I think that was too swift a transition to do that right after the funeral, and just kind of, again, the yelling and what they were saying and the tone in which they were saying, where it sounded like they were about to break out into a laugh at any point, it just didn't mesh well with the message that they were trying to get across. And again, it takes something that's supposed to be a very interesting, serious dynamic and dilemma that we wouldn't see anywhere else otherwise, which again was why we are interested in Colleen Hoover stories typically. And then it just makes it like silly, like it's laughing at itself. Again, a parody of itself almost.
You're a really good friend for seeing this movie. But you bring up an excellent point, too. I do want to take a quick step back and look at this overall because, Ethan, there's another Colleen Hoover film coming out.
Yes, there is the trailer that popped up before the movie.
Aren't you excited?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of screamed in my head and was like, not another one.
But this is the
But
interesting part of it. Do you know who Nicholas Sparks is?
yes,
Okay, alright, I didn't know. Alright, I got you, girlies. Nicholas Sparks had several movies in like 2000 and early 2010s, including The Longest Ride, Last Song, all these different books that got turned into movies that did really do well, like financially. Again, they're not like Oscar worthy, but people do love those films. Is Colleen Hoover's films becoming like that now? Because it's interesting. There's going to be 3 in how many years? 3 years?
yes, Jane Austen, her books became movies. Now you got Nicholas Sparks' books became movies, and she's, Jane Austen, sort of. And then you got the next one up with um
Colleen Hoover?
Colleen Hoover. I was gonna say Maggie Cooper. I'm like, who's that? But yeah, no, I think it definitely would be a new era. It all depends on what's selling at the moment, and that's what people are gonna make movies about.
Our theater was packed too, which
It
was super interesting.
It was fairly packed. And by the way, I'm not sure if you'll be surprised to hear this or not, but I saw The Longest Ride in a movie theater.
What?
Yeah, that's a movie I actually went to go see in the theater. Granted, it was on a date.
That's
Yes,
my favorite.
that's your favorite. Is that Nicholas Sparks?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Nicholas Sparks.
Nicholas Sparks movie. Interesting.
We love Nicholas Sparks.
So Nicholas Sparks, you know, that's a story for another time.
Yes.
But
It
yeah,
is interesting though because and we don't really talk about scandals and everything on this podcast, but it's interesting because you would have thought the Blake Lively situation might have made or break Colleen Hoover's career, and it looks like it's going to make Colleen Hoover's career because to be honest, I've never heard of Colleen Hoover before that situation and before that movie, and so super interesting, I feel like.
yeah. So it kind of leans into there's no such thing as bad publicity, even though there is. It's just very interesting to see where it's going to unravel from here with Colleen Hoover, her work, and how it translates to the big screen. Even though this one probably should have been on the small screen, in all seriousness.
A TV show or like a Hallmark movie is the right word for this.
Yeah, listen, okay, if they went into the dynamics of what makes it interesting and leaned into it, then yes, it deserved to be on the big screen. I'm sure it's gonna make a lot of money, and as a business decision, it's gonna be a great one, and yeah, it should be. You can argue whatever you want, but if you ask me from an artistic standpoint, this is one that I felt like was the equivalent of a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Which isn't terrible, just
People love Hallmark movies.
listen, we went over this before. It's a tradition for me and my old man. We watch Hallmark Christmas movies. We keep up with the new ones and everything. We drink our rum coffee while we're sitting down enjoying this thing. Man, it is a wonderful tradition to turn off your brain and just enjoy the season.
That's so funny. I can't even imagine you and your dad sitting down and watching.
Oh yeah, and we do the Hallmark drinking game and everything. It's wonderful. It's
So
wonderful.
cute.
You got the Bruce Wayne complex going on for a lot of them. I mean, it's wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
You did your bingo card out, dude. It's such a great tradition. But anyway, that we're not talking about. Well, I guess we kind of are talking about Hallmark movies indirectly, considering what we just watched. I guess any other thoughts, Annmarie?
I'm ready to rate this.
Okay.
I'm looking forward.
Because again, I don't know what else to say about this movie. It was just a very standard, run-of-the-mill Hallmark film, and I can't say much else about it because it didn't want to talk more about the reason of why a lot of people probably went to go see this movie.
Yeah.
Other than the wonderful McKenna Grace and Mason Thames. Out of 10 watermelon Jolly Ranchers,
Oh, that's easy.
how many would you give regurgitating you?
I love that you won't remember this title. You know what? It's probably gonna be a 5 for me. I felt so disappointed in this film, and I really wanted to go into this film and love it because listen, I love sappy stuff. I'm a girl. We'd all know this.
You have to be a girl that likes sappy stuff. I know it too, man. I love my good sap.
You know what? You're right. I shouldn't be saying that. But I really wanted to like this film because I like McKenna Grace. And it's just not for me, you guys. And it's disappointing because I think, Colleen Hoover came up with a really creative story. And unfortunately, it was just not executed right. But I appreciate Ethan going with me.
Happy to oblige. So yeah, I gotta give this one a 5 out of 10. And the thing that's interesting is I would typically give your average Hallmark movie maybe like just above a 5 over 10,
Yeah.
or 5 out of 10, like maybe a 6, because I understand what it is. It understands what it is, and it serves its purpose exactly what it needs to do. And I give it credit where credit's due. However, this movie, there's a lot of takes in there that I feel more disjointed from the rest of the movie, and it really kind of makes the message a little disjointed as a result, and feels like a parody of itself half of the time. So, with it missing the mark there and me feeling a little more unsatisfied for a movie I was kind of already expecting not to be truly satisfied by going into it, I gotta give it, a 5 out of 10. Maybe even maybe we're dipping down into 4 territory.
Oh no.
But yeah, you know, that's the cards we're dealt with this trip, and I'm just looking forward to our next round of films here we got coming up. That's for sure.
So true.
Yeah, but guys, that is, was it regurgitating you?
Regretting you.
Regretting You. I knew it all along. So Regretting You, the new Colleen Hoover movie, directed by the guy Josh Boone that did the Stars.
The Fault in Our Stars.
I can't remember nothing right now, man. That movie mellowed me out.
Let's wrap it.
Guys, let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below, whatever they may be. If you like the movie, you hated the movie, whatever, just let us know. I'm definitely curious to get all y'all's thoughts, no matter where you are in your, sappiness spectrum. Now, guys, thank you for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take. We hope you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast, but whether you have or haven't, please don't forget to rewind. I've been Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And don't forget your watermelon Jolly Ranchers.
Thank you, Ethan, for coming again.